EV made easy with no deposit, 0% finance over 60 months on a new Honda EN1. Plus, get a home charger package, 10,000 Ks of RUCs and a free 5-year service plan. Limited time offer only while stock lasts. Lending criteria, fees, T's and C's apply.
Welcome to Tarmac Life. We're here for the fun toys, cars, SUVs, utes, flights, hotels, because the journey matters too, and even the odd motorbike when we feel like living dangerously. Epic drives and unforgettable experiences, all served up with plenty of banter and zero boring nonsense.
On tonight's show, we go #crazy for the smart #1 Brabus. We trot off to Melbourne for a Mustang Mach-E experience. Chery blossoms in China. And then Skoda are turning up the volume and the performance on their new 7-seater Kodiaq RS.
Sure, and thanks for joining us. Now, it's fair to say that all three of us are pretty much petrol heads, but even for us, EVs have been getting the short end of the stick recently with fires at hospitals and buses that have been crashing, that really the battery has stayed more intact than anything else.
And funnily enough, it's actually been ICE cars that have been the ones to instigate these fires. The hospital incident was a ute in the parking lot, and then the bus was an ICE car actually crashing into the bus as well. EV manufacturers are very much aware that when sort of batteries do burn, they burn ferociously. And what they are starting to do is make kind of secret hatches and things for fire crews to be able to access the batteries. They're making safer battery casings as well. So they're doing a lot in that space to prevent these things from happening.
And even batteries themselves now have piercings technology to make sure you don't explode or anything like that. So they really are getting right into it.
It's great to see, right? Because it's still safety comes first. But while still in the topic of red hot EVs, but this time the right kind of red hot, these two take the smart #1 Brabus up for a spin. That's up next.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Brabus is a German company that's renowned for making, I guess, the likes of Mercedes, Rolls-Royce, Range Rover, a little bit more insane in terms of looks and performance. But they've also even ventured into boats, and also now they've got a Brabus Island. Oh, there's a place I want to go. Now with the smart #1, they've opened what they call a new chapter based on the fact that they've also been with Smart for the last 20 years. So it's kind of a new chapter based on some of their older, I guess their older connection. Taking a closer look at this #1, what you've got is an EV that's both exciting and also fun to drive. But in terms of styling, as you look around the front, they've thrown an awful lot at it. And some of it's functional and some of it's just aesthetic. So if we get these nostrils, these air vents here are completely blocked off. So there's no air vent going through here, but they look great. But also, when you look down the bottom here, the air vents on the side here are actually functional. So they send air down the side, making it more efficient or aerodynamic. And you get here a massive apron, massive front apron here that comes with these Brabus red highlights that really make it stand out and something to look at when it's driving down the road. What we've got is 4.3 meters in length and 1.64 meters in height. So it sort of sits between that sort of hot hatch and a small mini crossover. Okay, behind it all, or actually right down below and on the subframe down the bottom here, is a 66 kilowatt hour battery, which is good for, when fully charged, around 400 kilometers of range. And in terms of actually oomph, what you've got is 315 kilowatts of power and 543 newton meters of torque, which is quite exceptional, especially when this little rocket will go from 0 to 100 in 3.9 seconds. So stupidly fast and also crazy looking. It also has an efficiency of around about 18.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is not bad considering it's all-wheel drive and just actually it's very well balanced, so it drives well.
As similarly with the exterior, the interior also sort of screams this performance tuner kind of look to it. So everything, I pointed out the black and red accents, but you do get the Alcantara on the seats as well, which are both heated and ventilated. The steering wheel also heated. It's lined in Alcantara all around as well and has red stitching there. You've got a huge amount of choices in terms of your LED lighting colors, so that goes all around the dashboard, in to the doors and in the speaker housing as well, which highlights the B logo for the Beats audio system, of course, which you can kind of play around with using the infotainment screen. What I've done is put it into Brabus mode, and let's see if we can keep our lunch down.
Wow. It's like one of those roller coaster rides or the big pirate ship where your goonies are right up the... anyway, it's quite a violent drive off the line.
My stomach is still reeling from the gut punch. But the interesting thing is, you would have heard as well, that exhaust, or the fake exhaust noise if you like. And although yes, on the sort of top level it may seem a bit gimmicky, but I think it actually does work. It does introduce an element of character into this thing where, in a way, performance EVs have been lacking some of that, right?
Yeah, I agree. Look, there's some funny things about this car, like the door handles and things that I'm not overly impressed with, but then I drove this and it does the theatre of the sort of fake exhaust note when you're putting your foot down, and then also pulls away so violently that I couldn't help but smile and laugh. And it's something about it. It's a really joyful car. And it also handles or grips the road so well. I mean, I was throwing it around a fair amount, as I tend to, and it just sits and does what you want to do. And the steering is so tight and precise and responsive. Actually, everything's responsive. It's like I can't say more. It's a fun drive.
They say it has an intelligent all-wheel drive system, and I think trying as hard as he could, Dave still couldn't get this thing to break traction. It even, aggressively going around corners and roundabouts and things, you just don't get any sort of slip at all. It keeps the power in control and puts everything as far as possible right down to the road. And I think the engagement, the feeling, the enjoyment that you get is so much more thanks to that.
Man, that was a fun watch. And my first ever experience with a smart car was with a Brabus car, maybe some 11 or 12 years ago. And whenever those two brands get together, something really memorable comes about. And I think that it was the same thing here, right?
Absolutely. I haven't driven the non-Brabus version before, but I have to say this one was just completely mental. It just handled so well and just brought out the absolute hoon in me, which is crazy for an EV.
And I have to second your thoughts completely, because, we've talked in the past about EVs not having character, but I think you cannot say that about the #1 Brabus, because it was just a laugh. It was just ludicrous. A whole bunch of fun. And speaking of exciting EVs, actually, Harry's off to Australia, where he gets behind the wheel of the Ford Mustang Mach-E. That's on after the break.
It's everything you've always wanted. The all-new Suzuki Fronx.
What Ford have done now for the revised Mach-E is that they have simplified the range in terms of only having the Select and the GT. And a few of the changes that they have made to the car in this new era is that the headlights, now all the cars in the lineup get the same sort of tree design that was very famous with the other Mustangs in the lineup. And something else that sort of really makes the Select what it is the fact that you will get these black cladding that goes across the whole line of the car. One of the things that now has made its way to being standard equipment for the Mach-E, regardless of the trim level that you are using, is the fact that you now have this panoramic sunroof that really brings a lot more light into the interior. And the very same thing applies to one extra thing that you get here at the back, which is the fact that now they are all equipped with a power tailgate, really making this a little bit, just a little bit more practical than the two-door GT V8 petrol Mustang. Of course, the grunt of the talk is with the GT trim. And this one that we have right now is in this flat gray kind of color. And with the exception of the white and the black, the 6 new colors, which include this one, are one better than the next. The honeycomb grille has now been revised. It has this sort of 3D effect that really makes it look more modern. Of course, we must not forget that it is very much aided by the fact that you don't get actual door handles. You just get these press buttons that sort of pop the door open for you. And many of the things that made the interior of the Mach-E what it is are still very much here. So you still get this portrait mode screen that has not changed in size, but still managed to make it more modern by now being upgraded to the Sync 4 Ford system. Something else that has been upgraded and is probably the most welcome change to the interior of the Mach-E is the fact that no longer do you get a rotary dial to select your gears. Now they have been moved to the right stock. So you get the ability to change them here really easily and quickly as you jump into the car, while allowing for a lot more space in the center console. Speaking of driving modes, Ford have updated them to now go into Whisper, Active, and Untame. And Untame, being the sort of the sport mode, is now also increased to one extra level, which is this Untamed Plus, which will unlock a few other sets of features and how much the car interferes in what you're doing, so you can really extract as much as possible from the performance. And that is because nearly 2 years ago now, we had a go at the 2023 Mach-E GT, and we were very impressed with its 358 kilowatts of power in 860 Newton meters of torque. So how about that it now has gone to 435 kilowatts, but more importantly, 955 Newton meters of torque. This is no small feat to extract so much more power and so much more torque from a powertrain that is just being a little bit revised. Many EVs have managed to be these dragsters, right? To bring all of those figures in terms of power and torque, but also sort of a fall down a cliff when you have to go through bends or extract a little bit more of a dynamic driving experience from the car. And the GT tries to take a detour from all of that by still providing you with those MagnaRide adaptive shocks, the Brembo brakes, of course, and also these Ford Performance seats that are now 10-way adjustable and will keep you in place as you are going through the bends. But then depending on the driving mode that you are, as I said, the regen settings are going to change. Now being an Untame, it is quite heavy. As you can see, I'm just shaving off speed without using the brake pedal at all. And the other thing that this mode will then give you is full access to all the power that is available, and it is heaps of it. Just like that, it climbs to 100, no questions asked, it just goes. Now, not only do we get the GT, but we also get the Select, and it could be the one that families and most customers actually go for. For starters, no longer do you get those seats that you got with the GT, which are incredible. Of course, heaps of adjustment and the bolstering that you get from them. These here, even though they are comfortable, they are much flatter and they don't go as down low as the other ones did. The other thing that you then don't get is, of course, the power. But in no way does it mean that the Select doesn't have enough power, because with 212 kilowatts of power, it has more than enough pick up and go for you to handle the driving under the speed limit while still benefiting from those 525 Newton meters of torque. Something else that was also very specific to the GT driving experience is the MagnaRide shocks.
And yes, you don't get them here in this select trim level, but the whole suspension setup has been retuned and customized to bring a little bit more of a calmer driving experience and more comfortable as well. And the feedback that I get from the steering wheel, which of course in this case is not compromised by having a motor up front, because now the steering wheel is just focused on the steering. There's no motor up front.
See, when I go overseas, it's really hard work, but yours just look like a leisurely drive down the east coast of Australia. Gee.
Okay, I understand that it might look like this from camera, but now I understand it. I will not go on you anymore about this being a holiday. It's actual hard work, I tell you. But it was a great way to experience the Mustang, why it is such an important car for Australians and for Kiwis as well. And at the end of the day, a great way to see why is it that the Mach-E is actually outselling the proper Mustang GT.
You get a lot of these two holiday makers. So Harry's been busy banging on about his Australian adventure, and well, Dave's actually off next on a trip to China, where he's going to find out what Chery have in store, not just for us, but for the global market where their range of brands is concerned. That's on next.
For the next few days, we're in Wuhu, China, and all thanks to Chery, which is basically Chery, JQ, and Amoda as far as New Zealand's concerned. It's all part of their 2025 User Summit, or International User Summit, and there's plenty going on. And in fact, we've got two agendas, and I'm not quite sure which one we're doing, but I'm sure we're going to be driving cars at least around a car park. We'll be attending big conferences and really getting to know more and more about the brand, where they're heading, and what they've been up to. What you discover when you get to Chery HQ in Wuhu is both how vast the range of vehicles they have on offer and how much they are investing in technology. Robotics, powertrains, batteries, drivetrains, the list goes on and on. There is some seriously smart and advanced tech on offer. There's also a huge focus on safety. Even for those reluctant to crash. Alright, so we're actually at an outdoor track, or a course set up by Chery to test the iCar or iCore, depends which way you look at it. And it's raining, it's muddy. I've got stuff on my shoes to make sure that they're protected, but it is going to be a messy old trip here. I'm not sure how long the course is, but we will be going over bumps, we will be going over lumps, and there's a actually there's a big roller coaster thing. I don't think we're going to go over there, but it could be quite good fun. But let's see how we get on with this. This is the Chery J6, which is equally probably in our market would be called the JQ J6, although we don't have it anyway, so I guess a moot point. 150 on the front, 185 on the back.
Yeah, kilowatts.
Kilowatts, yeah. So the next event on the agenda is the La Paz L8. So I think we will be getting this into New Zealand, but probably not until 2027. La Paz is another new brand under the Chery banner and launched while we were there. It's all about driving elegance. With an L8, L6 and L4, there's an SUV for all. So parking assist,
Parking assist with click here this button. You can see there are no one in the vehicle.
No one in there.
If you want him stop, you release the key, he will stop.
Summing it up, there are multiple new models and variants on their way. From EV and super hybrid power to a newer motor hatch and even a sporty 04 Ultra. Chery is going to be very, very busy.
Do you want to drink something?
Okay, so we already know from our market, Chery, Omoda and JQ, but obviously that's just the tip of the iceberg from what we're seeing on your recent travel.
It really is. They've got La Paz is their new one. They've got iCar or iCur. They've got, honestly, their plethora of products is massive, and it just seems to be endless. And I almost think there's too much, but you know, I guess the market will decide. Now, bringing things a little closer to home, Skoda have added the RS to their Kodiaq range, and these guys take it for a spin after the break.
Go with even more grunt in the GWM Tank 300, now in diesel. Out there is calling.
The second generation Skoda Kodiaq RS. What's different? Now on the face of it, of course, you have the RS badge there. Note it's got new sort of text and styling as well. Again, a lot more flush to make it appear more prominent in a digital landscape. This grille is blacked out now for more sporty looking. And note that the fascia and everything is more chiseled, it's more aggressive. If you look at the back of this car, you can see a few RS specific details straight away. So you've got that prominent rear boot-lid spoiler. You've got, of course, the red highlighted RS badge over there. This diffuser across the bottom is also RS specific, as well as these visible exhaust tips that Skoda would like to point out. They're not quite connected to the actual exhaust tips, but they are prominent, and at least it is visible. So that's a start for performance cars these days. So nice work on that one, Skoda. For those of you who know the VW Group products, you'll see this straight away as their 2-liter turbocharged engine that's seen in a lot of their different models. In this particular Kodiaq RS, puts out 195 kilowatts of power, 400 Newton meters of torque, and gives you an average fuel efficiency rating of about 8.7 liters per 100 kilometers. And will do the 0 to 100 sprint in 6.4 seconds, which is not bad at all considering that this seats 7 as well.
If we are focusing on the RS bits, we absolutely need to start by talking about these seats. They come in this carbon black color, the integrated headrests, and of course the RS logo embossed to the headrest. So it really just makes for a very special place as soon as you look into the interior. These seats also come with 3 memory settings. They're heated, ventilated, and have quite a lot of adjustment on the lumbar support. So that's really good. The other RS bits scattered throughout the cabin continue to the steering wheel, of course, that has this perforated leather around pretty much the entirety of the rim and the RS logo at the flat bottom. Then to finish it off, a detail that goes around all of these items and also the dashboard is this tomato stitching that you get in this red that goes across the whole cabin. And I'm not joking, this is the actual name that they chose for the stitching.
But look, obviously you're not watching the review for all of those things. You're watching it for the performance and the drivability aspects. And as you can see, Harry has found some twistier roads right now, which he is pushing the Kodiaq RS a little bit more. And it's holding its ground well, I would say, around these corners. We're not shifting from side to side. I do get a little bit car sick, I have to say, and I'm still... my lunch is still, you know, within me rather than out. And fortunately, if it did come out, there are bin bags as well in the door cubby, so Skoda has thought about me, so thank you for that.
It just means that I need to try a little bit harder then.
Oh no!
And it's great to see that the car actually comes alive with you as you push it harder a little bit more. And it's very common to all of these cars that share this platform, this powertrain, that they have this very predictable dynamic, right? That they have heaps of torque down low because of the refinement this engine brings to the equation. Of course, assisted by the all-wheel drive system as well. And it is just, it never does anything that you are not expecting. After the limit, you sort of go into a very predictable understeer that it's just so engaging and really unexpected from a 7-seater SUV.
And I think when you do turn it up into the sporty mode, that DSG gearbox just comes alive with the quick shifts, and when you drop it, you know, lets the exhaust kind of breathe and make some noise, which is all part of the fun of having something like this. So the idea is when you drop the kids off, you drop the extended family off, wherever they need to be, you can hit the back roads.
Yes.
Rather than taking just a motorway sprint straight down.
Completely agree. It's the car that you will take the detour for the less travel road on the way back, because it rewards that kind of drive.
I have to say I'm a big fan of the Kodiaq and have been since its first generation. This one just looks so much better, and you know, sticking an RS badge on it and making it faster is great for the whole family. But what of that sound?
I mean, the good thing is that Skoda have given you the choice whether you can have it, you know, turned on, or you can live without it as well. So it gives you the best of both. Yes, it can get drony, but the choice is the important piece here. I think though the big talking point is the Kodiaq RS is now 95 grand, which is a chunky piece of money. You get a lot of car, but it is a lot of money, so something to think about.
So what have we learned tonight? The Skoda Kodiaq RS is expensive, but in my opinion, certainly worth it. Well, sounds that way anyway. Brabus has made the #1 completely mental. When it comes to the Mach E, it's now outselling the GT V8, and you're going to see a lot more of Chery in the future. And speaking of the future, we'll see you next week.
That's on after the break.
Is it after the break?
Yes.
Cool.
So,
I always ask that.
Yeah. Well, Dave's off next to China, where
Change. Yes.
Even today, it still qualifies for 5-star safety.
It does not.
Yes, it does.
This does not qualify.
It does.
Where is the not ANCAP? It can't do.
It does.
It can't. Does it have traffic sign recognition?
Yes, it does.
Does it have driver awareness?
Yes, it does.
Does it?
No, it doesn't.
Exactly.
That's on after the break.
Is it after the break?
Yes.
I'm joking. Now, normally I would say that, no, what am I going to say? Normally, what would I say? Now, arguably.
That's on next.
That's on. See, when we don't need an after the break, he inserts one.
Choose what brings you joy. Choose adventure. Choose something extra. Choose to live large, even when driving small. Choose to roar. Choose to lead the charge by going electric, or the best of both worlds with a plug-in hybrid. Choose to connect while disconnecting with the world around you. Life's a joy when you live it on your own terms. What will you choose? The BMW X Range.